kinetic energy problems. So the first thing you need to look at with a set of problems is what is your formula. So in this case, our formula is right here. So KE, or kinetic energy, equals 1/2 times mv squared. So m is your mass in kilograms. M is your mass in kilograms. And v is your speed in meters per second. And then all the half is really, you could take mass times v squared and divide it by 2, or you just multiply it by 0.5 or whatever. Remember, 1/2, if I take 1 divided by 2, my decimal for that is 0.5. Okay, so you just multiply that by 0.5. So let's take a look at the example here. So a jogger with a mass of 60.0 kilograms is moving forward at a speed of 3.0 meters per second. So what is the jogger's kinetic energy from this forward motion? So we say KE equals 1/2. Mass, we know the mass is 60 kilograms. And we know that V is 3.0 meters per second, and we need to square that. Okay, so we kind of work through this here. So we say KE is equal to 1/2 times 60 kilograms. Now when I square this, that's really, squared means you're really taking this. You're taking 3.0 meters per second times 3.0 meters per second. So 3 times 3 is 9. And then we have to actually square the meters as well. So you end up with meters squared, seconds squared. Okay. And then we basically just do the rest of this. So you could take, you just plug the rest of this into your calculator. So you can say 60 times 9 times 0.5, or divided by 2, either way. You should end up with kinetic energy equal to 300 joules. Or actually, that's the rounded version. I'm sorry. I was looking over here at the problem set. So kinetic energy, if we put that in a calculator, what you should end up with is 270 joules. Okay. I was looking over here. What they've done here is they've rounded this off to 10 meters per second, and that's where that 300 came from. So that's really all you're doing, though, is you're just plugging these in. And again, on a calculator, remember this 1/2, you either divide by 2, because if you think about it, a division symbol looks like a fraction anyway, right? So all that is 1 divided by 2. So you can say 1 divided by 2 times 60 times 9, and that should give you this 270 joules. So that's how you do it if you're given mass and you're given speed. Well, you could be given energy instead. So maybe they said you had 270 joules, and that is your kinetic energy. And maybe they said that you had an object that was 60 kilograms and it had 270 joules. How fast was it moving? So you know your mass would be 60 kilograms. And V, you wouldn't know. Okay? So then you could plug that into your equation. So you'd say KE equals 1/2 mv squared. So you'd plug in your 270 here. Instead of your 1/2, you'd still have 60.0 kilograms here. But now you have V squared out here that you don't know. So you could kind of do some algebra here to kind of get rid of all of this. So let's take a look at this real quick. So if we go ahead and to get rid of our 1/2, really can multiply both sides by 2. So that would cancel out. Multiply this side by 2, so you end up with 270 times 2 is 540. Okay. And that still leaves our 60 kilograms times V squared. Now you take and divide both sides by 60. Okay, so 540 divided by 60 gives us 9. I'm just pulling those units from the fact that I know that that is velocity squared. We could go through how this gets to that, but no real need to. And then you just take the square root of that. So the square root of 9 is equal to 3. So you could put that in a calculator, or you could just do it. So that's V squared. So yeah, you got to take the square root of that to get to V. So V is equal to 3 meters per second. And you do the same thing. You may get a problem some point in time where you're given everything but the mass. So you know 270 again. And again, this is our kinetic energy equals 1/2 mv squared. So you'd have 1/2 still. The mass you wouldn't know. And you would know maybe the velocity is 3 meters per second, and you have to square that. So you kind of work through this again. So you can say 270, just recopy that. Now go ahead and square this. So 3 squared is 9, and that's meters squared second squared. Now we go ahead and multiply both sides by 2. That gets rid of this half, gets rid of that. That gives us our 540 equals m times 9 meters squared second squared. Divide both sides by our 9. And we take 540 divided by 9, and you should get 60 over here. So there's that.